Nuclear war, the specter of nuclear war has threatened mankind for a few decades, and only in 1980s, United States and USSR were equipped with enough nuclear weapons that could destroy the entire world maybe once or twice. But as I told you, that basically there was a theory of balance of terror, or the fear of mutual annihilation or mutual destruction, which means that if United States had attacked Soviet Union would have retaliated, and in that retaliation both countries would have virtually destroyed. They would have been wiped out from the face of the earth. So of course there were dangers during the Cold War. There have been 3 and 4 times when the nuclear war appeared to be very imminent, but it did not happen. The first was during the Korean War that decimated around 3 million people. First, it was North Korea that conquered all the territories up to the Seoul, the present-day South Korea, and then United States and United Nations troops, they pushed them back. And then China jumped in, bringing its own soldiers because it was fearing that US might intervene in China. During that time in China, in 1949, a communist revolution had already taken place, and Americans were very furious for losing China because they wanted to have influence in China. So before 1949, United Kingdom, to some extent America, and some other Western powers had influence inside Chinese territory. So they were very fearful. So the first it was after the Second World War, it was the first time that the specter of a nuclear war started haunting the international community. Somehow Korean War, was sorted out, and then they maintained truce, which is still in existence after more than 4 decades. The second time it was Cuban crisis missiles in 60s. In Cuba, you had a government that was very much pro-American. So there, in early 60s, a socialist revolution led by Fidel Castro and Che Guevara took place, and they toppled that pro-American government that was only benefiting the American companies. And since Cuba was a neighbor of the United States, America felt very alerted, and it is starting hatching conspiracies to dislodge this socialist government, and it made a number of assassination bids on Fidel Castro as well. And since the United States wanted to topple this revolutionary government, the Soviet Union extended a helping hand to Cuba, installing its missiles against United States. But now there are researchers that claim that United States had instilled nuclear missiles in Turkey, and Turkey, was close to Armenia and Soviet Union in a way. So finally, Kennedy and Khrushchev, the Soviet leader, they somehow sorted out this issue. Soviet Union withdrew its missiles, and United States also did the same in Turkey, and this is how they averted a nuclear war. The third time was Vietnam War, and during the Vietnam War, United States was advised to use nuclear arms, but the American administration rightly brushed it aside. And after 9/11, President Bush, George W. Bush, named 7 countries against whom America might use nuclear weapons, including China, Cuba, North Korea, Iran. So that's very unfortunate. In the present circumstances, it's very difficult to say if a nuclear war will ever erupt, because everybody knows what may be the catastrophic consequences of such a war. It's a part of diplomacy that sometimes you pretend, if you want your enemy to agree to your terms and conditions, you portray one of your leaders as crazy man. Like during the Cold War, American President Nixon was portrayed by American establishment as a crazy man who can just put his hand on nuclear button anytime and could destroy Soviet Union. So it could be the part of posturings. Trump might be posturing. But of course, in the recent years, this danger has increased a lot because of the irrational policies of the United States. Iraq did not have nuclear weapons and it started disarming itself, and then America invaded it and destroyed it. Libya had a nuclear program, but the West convinced Colonel Gaddafi to abandon this program. He abandoned this program, and afterwards his government was toppled and dislodged. Syria had a nuclear program, and the international community convinced him somehow to abandon that program. He abandoned that program, and then his country was attacked, and efforts were made to dislodge his government. And more than 300,000 people lost their lives. Around 6 million people have become internally and externally displaced people. They have just turned into refugees, and now they are seeking refuge here and there. So this has created fear among the states, and states feel that if you do not have nuclear weapons, then America can come anytime, and in the name of regime change or the government change, it will just dislodge you. So it is because of this that countries are now thinking that they should have nuclear weapons. One of the reasons as to why Pakistan does not agree to the idea of international community that Pakistan should abandon this nuclear weapons. Pakistan knows very well that the moment we abandon this option, the United States can intervene in our country militarily anytime and could dislodge the government. Recently, there has been hypersonic missiles experiment that was carried out by China and Russia, and it has a speed of 5,000 kilometers per hour. And then a few days back, Russia carried out an experiment of a missiles that could carry 12 nuclear bombs of the size of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And within one strike, it could exterminate an entire country. So I think Russia also feels that the United States has a lot of weapons, because United States, despite all opposition, went ahead with its program of National Missile Defense System. So National Missile Defense System is a system that could destroy a target in the air. So if Russia, for instance, fires some missiles, United States can just destroy it on the way to any American territory. So that's why now Russia has come up with the missiles that can fire not 1 or 2 nuclear bombs, but that can carry 12 nuclear bombs. So I think this race will go on, and it will not stop. Maybe tomorrow America will come up with another nuclear or dangerous nuclear bomb, and Russia will do the same. So this will go on. Like during the Cold War, they came up with ICBM, anti-intercontinental ballistic missile, and then America came up with some other missile. So it will go on. It will go on. I don't think that there will be an intentional war, but accidentally, of course, a single mistake could lead the entire world towards the path of wars and destruction.